Hello everybody, my name is Luke Marr and this is Hot Mode, and today on Hot Mode we are coming to you with an Academy Museum Gala 2022 red carpet roast and review. Now listen, the Academy, like, you know, the Academy Awards, like, you know, the Academy of People in Movies, the official title obviously, they have a museum out in Los Angeles in California, and they host a gala, and honestly, like, they get everybody to show up. I don't know what the Academy does to get them all to show up. They're probably like, you want your Oscar nomination? Better come. Everybody shows up and they show out. So I thought, listen, it's a cute, fun little red carpet that I enjoy. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, first up, we have Alana and Este Haim. Now, Alana is on the left and she is wearing a crop top Louis Vuitton set. I believe that this is from the spring 2023 collection that just came out, and I believe that Este's A-line dress is the exact same. Now, it's pretty much leathery crop top set with a large burnt orange zipper and a large pull on the zipper. Now that was the whole thing about Nicolas Ghesquiere's spring 2023 collection, was enlarging little details of different Louis Vuitton zippers or keychains and things like that, sort of making those elements the focus rather than just a detail, which is an intriguing concept. I think though, from the look of this set, not all of them landed in the most sophisticated manner. I just think that the proportions of it is weird. That top is just very oversized and looks kind of uncomfortable and is kind of like swallowing. Alana, the skirt, I think I would say the same thing. It's just, it protrudes too much on the sides. There's not enough area for that crop top to really have a crop top effect. I also think that the leather, just with the way that the light reflects off of it, doesn't look as flattering. As for Este, I think the idea of the A-line dress is fun. I think it fits in with Nicolas Ghesquiere's whole 1960s thing that he's been going for recently. We can see that there is a large zipper and pull there as well, and a lot of this black leather with these big clunky pockets. Another thing, the pockets, cute, not great. We don't love them. Big creases in the fabric, and I think that's on purpose, but I don't think that it is amazing. And it looks like there's some sort of cutout at the back, which I would have loved to have possibly seen. Maybe it would distract me from the front. These looks are just not, they're just not great. I just don't think it was a fantastic collection, and I don't think that these looks are helping to sell that idea at all either. So thank you, but most definitely no thank you. Next up, we have Alexa Demie. She's wearing Balenciaga. Now, it's a sharp shoulder in a matte black. It's fitted to a degree. What the intriguing element of it really is, besides the love dress thing, very Balenciaga nowadays, is this little curved trellis overlay that's probably filled with sequins and reflective, so it has this turtlenecky effect, and then as we can see, it exposes the matte black underneath it. I think it's intriguing, but I just feel like there could be better. You know what I mean? I've seen Alexa in some pretty good Balenciaga moments. This one is blasé, I would say, as far as Balenciaga goes, but I will say that she definitely usually turns it out, although she does pretty simple for the most part, and so I'm gonna give her this moment to say, listen, I get it, I understand it, I'm not gonna judge too harshly. I just think it's kind of blah. I don't think it's horrible, I just think it's kind of blah. Next up, we have Alexandra Daddario, and I believe that she's wearing Dior Haute Couture. I have a feeling that this is some sort of Haute Couture experience. It's a white sort of flowy dress, as we can see. Alexandra Daddario in this moment is really saying, like, this is how you sell the dress, because I think she's doing a good job of that. What we can see is it's a sort of very plunging white silk gown, and the plunge is actually covered up by Maria Grazia's very now signature fishnet aesthetic. It's just that the fishnets at each of the sort of intersecting points has a little sort of pearl on top. It comes up, creates like a crew neck cut up top. In reality, it's very flowy, Maria Grazia, woman of antiquity. There's just not too much to it. It's not horrible, and I'll take that, and I appreciate that. I think that it has flow, I think it has fun, it has function, because it has pockets, and that's very Maria Grazia. I just, of course, always want like a little bit more oomph from Dior. It's not always the case. Next up, we have Diana Silvers, and she is wearing Prada. Now, this is a custom Prada dress. It has a lot of exposure. It exposes almost the entirety of sides from the shoulder, the tippity top of the shoulder, all the way down to right of the pelvic area. And then it sort of exposes the high thigh all the way down to the shoe, which very scantily clad for Prada, and I kind of like it. It's a black sort of simple dress with a, what I believe is a bateau neckline and that exposure. But what does reference past Prada collections, I believe 2022, is this sort of waistband in silk and white, which I will say I love the idea of it. I just don't think that it flows super duper well upon a little bit of a further inspection. But what I do love is the fact that A, it's a drop waist in this band, which references the 1920s, something that Miuccia Prada was most definitely trying to reference during that collection, but also the little back swag in this creamy white silk that flows down and creates a little bit of an intriguing train. I do love the skirt of the actual dress, that black skirt that really sort of flaps open and just creates two sort of long panels that in reality move and groove as they please. I think the idea of it is really, really great. I think for the most part, the actual execution of it is great. The one issue I have, it's just a little bit evident that there's some sort of not total 100% meshing of the white band in terms of construction against the actual dress. But that's like a honestly 10% problem to me. I think this still scores like a solid 90%. I think the references are great. I think the fact that it's scantily is also super fun. I think it's Prada actually taking elements of the runway and bringing it into their custom red carpet moments. And that I love. I'm proud, I'm happy. Next up, we have Eiza Gonzalez, and she is wearing custom, I believe, LaQuan Smith. It is a fully sequined orange gown with small sort of train. Listen, I think this is probably one of the first times LaQuan is doing custom like this, where it's just sort of form-fitting, really beautiful, elegant red carpet experience, and I'm happy for him. I think it's nice, I think it's fun. The one issue I really truly have isn't the fit. I think the fit is phenomenal. I'm very actually proud of him. I think for young brands that are putting together looks like this, especially LaQuan, who is very, I would say, sexy and again, scantily clad oriented. You know, there's a lot of hip cutouts. There's a lot of exposure of the body. Considering this is like that real old world glamour and that real sort of simple red carpet, beautiful elegance, I think he nailed it. I do. I think the fit of it is great. I think the execution of it is miraculous. I think those sequins are just to die for. My one singular issue is what I would have an issue with any other brand, that waist seam. It's unsightly. It's always going to be unsightly. It doesn't matter if it's Dior or Chanel that's doing it or LaQuan Smith. It's unsightly. But I think the color, signature LaQuan. I think the use of the sequins is newer, I would say, but I also think that it reflects a very sort of chromatic feeling of LaQuan from seasons ago. Honestly, I'm actually very proud of him. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I think it shows that he can do red carpet like everybody else. I'm a fangirl. I think it's a moment. Next up, we have Emma Stone. She is wearing Louis Vuitton. There's a lot going on there. It is a line dress held together by a lot. There's just a lot going on there. It is a black curved strap that holds onto two breast pieces that are draped in like a light blue full of, are they pearls? Is it just the fabric? I'm not sure. There's a sort of lace, black lace layering in the middle to cover up cleavage. There's a black band of leather decorates the waist and sort of helps create a waist, as well as a horizontal panel. There's a little bit of fabric frayage, and then it falls into a vertically gathered skirt with that fabric frayage or flounce at the bottom. Black lace legging shoes. I don't love the legging shoes because we can just tell that they don't really fit super great, so that's rough. I like the idea of the dress. I think utilizing the lace and nightgown situation is cool, and I think we were moving in a proper direction. Just don't think that it hits all the way home. It's very lingerie, sleepwear, kind of boudoir sexy, but done in a Nicolas Ghesquière sort of kooky crazy way. There's promise there. I just think the execution's a little bit strange. There's just so much to it that's weird and like not great weird. There's a lot to wade through. I just wish that the fitting of those leggings was better because that really distracts. And I appreciate the fashion forward idea of the little slip nighty dress. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. It's just a lot to like take in this moment. I do like it, but I also don't. I think that's very Nicolas Ghesquière, and so I'm just gonna have to like sit with it for a while. Next up, we have Hailey Bieber wearing Saint Laurent. Now this is a little draped strapless gown. There is a sort of twist drape at the bust area and exposure of the stomach, and then a ruched center, little sarongi sort of gown situation. It's in this, I don't know if it's like an ash gray kind of vibe, or an ash brown. I'm really not sure. But I do think it's very simple Saint Laurent red carpet wear. I do wish there was a little bit more to it, most definitely. I think it's fine, but I think that it should be spiced up a little bit more. I understand Saint Laurent was very slinky and Anthony Vaccarat, and I get it. And I'm, you know, listen, nobody's gonna say it more than I am, but it feels a little bit too simplistic here in this moment. I think we need a little bit more exciting red carpet referencing from Saint Laurent. I think a little bit more pump, a little bit more 1960s, 1970s, 1980s Saint Laurent moments on the carpet, because it can get kind of tiring to see just the same slink over and over and over, because the slink sometimes slunks, and I feel slunked by the slink. So that's my overall issue here. Do I think it's a pretty dress? Yeah, kinda. Do I think that it needs a little bit more substance? Yeah. Most definitely. Next up, we have HoYeon Jung, and she is wearing a similar look to Emma Stone's. This is a little bit more A-line, but it still has that nighty effect. It has the leather straps and leather trim that goes along this plunging neckline, but it's lined with a black sort of lace so that you're not actually seeing like cleavage and skin there. There's a little bit more of that leather decorative trimming that sort of juts out. We can see that this it's not feathers, but it's like frayed fabric comes in. There's a little black and white frayed little flounce that sits around, you know, the waist area, so we can see that it's obviously sewn together. It's like a little two-piece, and it helps to sort of build out that A-line silhouette. You can see that there's a little bit of a scallop with the frayage, you know, at the bottom, and then the lace little leggings and knee-high black boots. I get the look, I get the idea of the look, I like where we're going with it. I just don't think the actual execution really like hits in a way that's a tangible taste, or a tasty tangibility for most of us. It's just strange. And that's fine. There are stranger things in the world. You know, I get it. Nicholas Gisquet likes a stranger moment, but not everybody does. Next up, we have Jessica Chastain, and she is wearing Oscar de la Renta. Now, this is a horizontally draped strapless gown that flows into a vertically little gathered floral skirt moment, and there is a matching cape that sort of flows out from the neck back. Listen, it's very Oscar. It's very sort of floral, which I think that they've really sort of always gone for. But I think that it's what Laura Kim and Fernando Garcia have been pushing recently. We have seen a lot of these sort of floral designs. It's very girly, it's very feminine, it's big, beautiful Oscar. It's not too complicated, it's not too over the top. Do I wish there was a little bit more drama, a little bit more excitement? Absolutely, positively, but it's an American evening wear brand. I'm not gonna expect like a Balenciaga level exaggeration from Oscar. It's like, I just don't expect a super crazy kooky over the top sort of style. I think that Oscar de la Renta clients will look at this and be like, oh, I love that. That's gorgeous. That's stunning. I want that. I just think that that's how that operates. So I understand why for a red carpet like this, there's nothing super overwhelming and over the top. It's just pretty Oscar florals. Do I wish it was more exciting? Absolutely, 100% without a doubt. But do I get it? And does it fit in with the Oscar profile? Sure. Next up, we have Jodie Turner-Smith, and she is wearing a custom Gucci look. Now, this is a plunging green silk gown with large feather sleeves and a feather trim at the hem, and some silver floral embroidery running up and down it. Listen, again, I feel like this sort of goes into what Gucci has been doing for quite some time, which is very boudoir, 1930s Hollywood starlet dressing, the likes of Katharine Hepburn and Joan Collins and all of that sort of beautiful sweeping night dresses that you would see in a black and white movie from the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. Do I like it? Yes. And I would say that I like it from a Gucci perspective. I think the blue and the green is very jarring. I think the silver embroidery, maybe we didn't need, but I understand why they did it because it makes it even more over the top than it already is. I also think Jodie has really, really been turning it out, and I have like such an appreciation for her. I'm very grateful because to stylists or designers or whatever that I think just do a great job, they make my job easier. You know what I mean? Like they just make it easy for me. I can just say, wow, it's beautiful, it's stunning, it's gorgeous. Do I wish that maybe we had chosen a different silk? Yeah, I do. Genuinely, I just think the silk is not the best. And do I wish that maybe we had done like a blue in the floral or some sort of other embroidery? Yeah, again, I do. But overall, do I like hate it, despise it? No. Do I wish it was better? Absolutely, of course. Next up, we have Julia Roberts, and she is wearing Thom Browne. Now, this is a beautiful, gorgeous Thom Browne gown, which we love. It's a strapless black bodice gown that falls into a floor-length skirt. Now, the thing is, we can see if we zoom in at the sort of pelvic area that it's actually a skirt that looks like the closure of a pair of pants, which again, Thom Browne, tailoring brand, that's what everybody knows it for, that's what everybody loves it for in a commercial sense. But what Thom Browne does is always sort of jimmies the lock of tailoring and menswear and sort of brings it into a different sort of context. I was actually reading something from Vogue recently where Thom was essentially saying that my favorite thing is to dress men more femininely and to dress women more masculinely, because in reality it just flips this idea of gender. It allows you so much room to play, and so I respect it. So that's like a little Thom Browne detail that I love. I just think that there are those little moments that he does where I say, this man, he gets it. He gets it. It's weird, it's kooky, and I know people will be like, who's gonna wear this besides Julia Roberts? Who gives? There is so much shit on the runway that you see every day, and it's every day nowadays. Nobody's gonna wear anyway. So listen, if it's gonna be crazy and over the top and at least intriguing to look at, God forbid that I wanna see it, okay? I do love the fact that we have a little, button-down shirt that comes from below. So again, you're sort of getting this idea of the corset and strapless gown, but incorporating those tailoring sort of traditional suiting elements like a shirt and then a blazer paired over top. It's just gorgeous. She kills it. Listen, I love that Julia Roberts went for it. I love that Thom Browne is on their red carpet shit. They know how to handle it. It's done. Next up we have Kaia Gerber, and she is wearing Azzedine Alaïa. Now, this is a sheer bodysuit look in black that exposes quite a bit. But Kaia is a vision. We have a beautiful clingy bodysuit. Azzedine Alaïa was known as the king of cling. He was a designer that liked fitted sort of styles. And then, as we can see, there is a pelvic plunge and a eggplant aubergine ruched skirt right up the front. Creates a whole lot of texture on thighs, the buttocks, and then sort of falls into a simple little skirt that goes down vertically. Honestly, it looks very Azzedine Alaïa. I think Peter Moulier did a great job here. I think that purple is just stunning, gorgeous. A lot of Azzedine Alaïa's work was in black. It just was a color that he was very much drawn to. He always sort of spoke about how black was really his go-to color, but I think Peter Moulier here does a great job of creating that texture that Azzedine Alaïa was also really, really known for, but doing it in a different little color. I think the purple really sets it apart. I think it really is a beautiful little subtle change of color. We could take this photo and then like Photoshop in a picture of Azzedine Alaïa, and I'd be like, oh, this is a Peter Lindbergh image. Absolutely, 100%. It is so Alaïa-esque. It's beautiful, it's stunning, she looks gorgeous, she looks radiant. I think she understands that she really can wear just about anything, and I think this Alaïa moment is anything but just anything. It's stunning. I think that there are very few people that really understand selling a garment, and I think Kaia Gerber is one that understands very well. Next up is Caitlin Dever, and she is wearing Dior. Honestly, out of all the Dior looks, I don't really hate this. I actually kind of love it. I love the cut of this gown. I think it's beautiful. I like the little sort of capelet that wraps around and sort of falls down to around the elbow area. I think the black little sheer overlay over the beige overlay is gorgeous. I think the little florals are nice. They're simple. They're effective. The collar is great. I think the fit of the actual dress is lovely. It follows that nice sort of pyramid triangle effect. Like, listen, I think this is a nice Dior look. I really do, genuinely. I think it's beautiful. I think it's stunning. I think Maria Grazia is doing a great job here in this moment. I'm happy about it. Thank you. Next up, we have Kiki Palmer, and she is wearing Act Number 1. Now, this is a black tuxedo suit. I think it's a little bit of a wide leg suit, and it just has sort of blue loofah tulle jutting out of it. I will say this about Kiki. It's not wearing her. It's close, but it's not wearing her, and I think that's the biggest part of this battle, but I don't think that it is a particularly good look. I don't think it's exciting. I don't think it's memorable. I don't think it's super wonderful. I don't think that it's doing anything crazy and over the top and memorable with the tulle. It just falls flat. I'm sad about that because I think Kiki has been having good moments. I just don't think that this is that. I don't, again, think that this is wearing her. I don't think it's a case of the look is just too much and she can't handle it. I think she can, very obviously. Just looks a little bit slap, boom, bang thrown together. And that's unfortunate. I just would like a lot better from Kiki in this moment. And Act Number 1 too. Meh. Next up we have Kerry Washington, and she's wearing Prabal Gurung. I don't know why. It's not that this collection that Prabal did, which is like spring 2023, most of it was bad. But there were some looks from that collection that were like decent and could have actually looked good on Kerry Washington. And I feel like Kerry is moving away from like Ellie Saab all day, every day, which I'm okay with, but not in this direction. Let's not pivot here. Let's keep going. Greener pastures. I just think that the ruche dress with the print is too much. I think that there's a way to do ruching and make it exciting and fun and intriguing and interesting and memorable. The plunge is meh. The straps are meh. The gloves are meh. The sheer elements of it are meh. Like, listen, I like the Kerry went for something. out there. It's just way out there and not in a good way. Let's keep the energy, just not the look or the aesthetic of the look whatsoever. It's just student work. Next up, we have Laura Harrier, and she's wearing the row, which I mean, like, listen, when you see the row on the red carpet, it means, like, you know that you're having your moment. So I like what Laura Harrier has been doing. She's been going for, like, fashion vibes, and I'm into it. So it's a strapless cream gown that in reality has a flow out flounce, but the flow out flounce is asymmetrical, which I think is kind of lovely and different than what we usually get. Usually it's very symmetrical. This though I think is very the row, very the Olsen's. And also it's not a fitted gown, but it's not unfitted. It's not bouffant, it's not over the top. It just falls really crisply, really cleanly. Yeah, there's a little bit of wrinklage, but like I'm gonna blame that on the fact that the row is a brand about like working women. That's what happens in the real row. I think genuinely that neckline is really, really interesting. I think the flounce asymmetrically is really different than what we normally see. It feels more conceptual, it feels more artistic, it feels a little bit Noguchi. I don't know, that's just my thoughts when it comes to the Olsen's. I like the idea of the Olsen's also doing red carpet. It's a brand that is simple. It's a brand that started based on $950 cashmere t-shirts. So don't expect to get a Habsburg Dynasty over the top embellished gown with, you know, mink trim, although if the Olsen's were to do it, I'm sure it would be good, but expect clean, minimal, sterile. That's what the row is, and I think that the simple element of that asymmetrical flounce is all you need from the row. It just looks done, looks intriguing, looks interesting. I want to know more. Next up, we have Leslie Mann, and she's wearing Paco Rabanne. Now, this is a little waist cutout dress. It's a gown. It has a turtleneck. It has a lot of draping, which creates a really intriguing texture. And I like the fact that the draping at the clavicle area matches the draping that comes in where that little pendant is and creates that textured pull right at the center of the waist. I think it's actually kind of stunning. I think it's actually really intriguing. I think the fact that it keeps those elements coming together and it's about the fabric. Very rarely are we doing things that are about the fabric. This actually seems like Julian DeSena knows how to treat fabric, and honestly nowadays it's very hard to find a designer that seems to know what they're doing with it. Honestly, genuinely think that it looks great. I think it looks intriguing. It's very simple, but I think, again, it's about creating texture on that silk, and I think that it's a beautiful texture created, and it's consistent. Easy, simple, I like it, done. Next up, we have Lily Collins. She's wearing Dior. It's not custom. I thought this was custom. It's customary to warn people before you wear something like this, though. I will say that the knit turtleneck top with the black bra and then the silk warped wrap skirt with the slit is just, I don't know. It's uncomfortable. I don't know who thought of this. I must have blocked this out when I looked at the Dior Fall 2022 show. Thankfully I did. It's dawning upon me now in this moment, and I was caught off guard. I started talking to my therapist bi-weekly. Might have to go back to weekly. It's just hideous. I don't understand we would have the multiple florals coming in and cream instead of anywhere black, or at least maybe at the back there's black. I wouldn't even want to see it from the back. The knit top with the bra makes no sense. It just, this is a horrible look. I don't know why Emily in Paris is trying to Emily in Paris outside of the show. I thought we all had like an agreement. You keep it on the show, keep it on Netflix specifically, and I won't hate. The truce has been broken. I feel betrayed. A2, Lily Collins A, burn it. Burn it. We then had Michelle Yeoh. I don't know who she's wearing. I couldn't find it, but she's wearing essentially a button-up shirt dress that is full of sequin florals that is like a sheer overlay with sleeves, but there's like a black dress underneath. I like the idea of it, honestly. I also will say I saw Everything Anywhere, I forget the name of the movie, but I watched it. Fantastic movie. I want her to keep the energy of her daughter in the movie. Please. Love Michelle Yeoh. Listen, the bag, Schiaparelli. I don't know if she's wearing Schiaparelli. I can't really tell. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. But like, I want more exciting Schiaparelli if that's what we're going to be doing. I want thoughtful. I want surreal. I want it to reference the movie. I think that's cool and fun and funky and amazing and wonderful. And I think that's what we need from Michelle Yeoh. So Michelle, if you're watching, I don't think you are, but if you are, I know you can do it. I don't hate the idea of it. I think that it fits her. I think that it flatters her. I think that it feels very nice and a little bit buttoned up, but not too buttoned up. There's elements of intrigue to it, but I want a little bit more pizzazz going forward. I want more of the 2.5-hour movie that I watched to emanate out of the look. That's what I demand. That's what I ask. Maybe not demand. I wouldn't demand anything of Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh could slap me in the face and I'd be like, next up we have Olivia Wilde, and she is wearing Alexandra Daddario, and this is an haute couture looky look. It is a fully sheer, I believe, chainmail look with a sharp shoulder, a little trumpet skirt, and a pink feather trim, all in that beautiful silver. She's gone full, or almost full, nude underneath, and honestly, like, utmost respect it deserves. I think the dress fits her beautifully. I love the shoulders on it. I love the fit of it. We can see a lot of the seamage going on, but honestly, I think it creates a really, really beautiful dress. I think the effect is stunning. I think the little pink trim on the bottom is just like the perfect little detail. I think she looks fantastic. I'm into it. Next up, we have Regina Hall, and she is wearing David Coma. Now, I believe that this is a look from the spring 2022 collection, but it seems to be adapted a little bit. It is an off-the-shoulder feather bust experience and then a fitted white dress with a little sequins detail right above the slit. I think it's okay. I don't love it. I'm not obsessed with it. I do think that the feathers look very, very thick. And when we look at it on the runway versus on Regina, I actually think that it looks better going all the way across rather than sort of sloping like that. I think the wall of feathers is nice. It's full. It's thick. I think it looks lovely. Do I wish it was more exciting, more intriguing, more fun? Yeah, but like, honestly, I think that it looks nice. The feathers are good. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. And I'll take it. Next up, we have Selena Gomez wearing Giorgio Armani. Now listen, Selena, I don't hate it. It's a Giorgio Armani suit. You know, the brand was kind of built on suiting. Can't really be mad about that. The little sort of rounded lapels don't really go down. I think it's intriguing, the sort of length of them, and there's a button right below, so it sort of, I think it's intriguing. The suit fits fine. I don't really love the pant legs. I wish they were a little bit less tapered as they go down. I just think that the cylinder is kind of weird, but like besides that, I don't think it's a horrible thing. I don't think it fits that bad. I think it looks okay. Do I want Selena to be more intriguing? Yes. But I think when she was more intriguing previously in recent experiences, didn't really work out great for her because there was some sort of clothing malfunction. So maybe she was just trying to go simple and sleek. I also think that with Armani, like, it's a brand that for the most part stuff fits really, really well. I think here everything fits good. Not gonna have some sort of issue. I don't love it. I'm not obsessed with it. Again, don't hate it. But I want Selena to keep going because she really has been having fun moments, and I want that to continue for her. I think it's necessary and needed. But in the meantime, if the simplest thing we're gonna do is an Armani black suit, I'm not gonna be mad about it. Next up, we have Taylor Russell, and she wore an Alexander McQueen look from spring 2023. Now, it is a black crop top halter style and a black leather skirt with a butt cutout, or at least a butt plunge, which in reality is most definitely a reference to the bumsters. When I was looking at this look initially, I was like, I feel like I've seen this before, but there's some McQueen reference in there. There has to be. There's just, you know, Sarah Burton, I think, on the runway has been getting a little bit better about referencing McQueen. Thank God. I think that we've cracked the code. Now, a look that I found from none other than the very iconic spring 1997 collection, otherwise known as number 13 because it was the 13th collection, is actually a beautiful brown little halter style, exactly the same, and the model puts her arms inside of the little gorgeous leather halter top, just like Taylor Russell does. The thing is, Taylor Russell, she's brilliant. I don't know who her stylist is. Whoever it is should be taking a little bit more credit for being a workhorse because Taylor Russell is on her shit. She's a fashion girl, without a doubt, referencing Bing Bang Booming, moving and grooving and living her best life. I mean, like, referencing number 13 and the girls don't even know that she's referencing number 13. I love the reference to the bumster. I love the reference to spring 1997. I think that she is a fashion girl without a doubt, and the movie that she's in is not even out yet. I also think because it's like a horror movie, I love the fact that she is fully going for a little Alexander McQueen scary, spooky, gothic moment too. It's hot, sexy, it's cool, it's fun. Taylor Russell, hats off that I don't have on to you. So Tilda is wearing the Schiaparelli, and I believe it is a ready-to-wear look. Now, it is a long black coat with a beautiful, beautiful sharp shoulder. There are gold buttons that have a key lock moment. So again, Schiaparelli, beautiful, surreal buttons are locks and all that sort of jazz. But the other thing that's super duper fun and super duper exciting is the fact that these little pockets that we can see, the 6 of them, are actually a reference to a Schiaparelli collection from 1938, which essentially took actual porcelain cups and then put them on top of the actual jacket and created references to little porcelain styles. We know that there are Schiaparelli references to silverware like forks and spoons and knives, and so it's fun to also see that there are references to different elements of dishware and finery and all that sort of stuff. Schiaparelli was a surrealist. She understood, you know, how to move and groove and make sort of styles that were intriguing. And the other thing is you really have to like know the history of this look to understand what the look is referencing. It's not super duper clear. Also, it's just a beautifully fitted jacket. You know what I mean? Like, it fits her amazingly. And it's not even haute couture, you know what I mean? It's ready to wear. It's just like the way that that waist nips in and falls back out. It's Elsa Schiaparelli to a T. Beautiful, beautiful gold on black. Stunning. It's gorgeous. Tilda knows what she's doing. Daniel Roseberry knows what he's doing. It's a match made in heaven, and I'm happy to be watching it. And that is the end of this video. So let's talk about a best and worst. Best, I'm putting in Kaia Gerber, I'm putting in Taylor Russell, I'm putting in a stunning Tilda Swinton, because that jacket just, it fit gorgeously. As for the worst, I'm gonna put Lily Collins, yikes. Kerry Washington, yikes. The Haim sisters, yikes. I think that's enough for now. So I'd love to know what you guys think of the Academy Museum Gala red carpet. Please let me know. I will see you guys in the next video, and TTYL.